Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Sunday evening. Some of these are some news stories that we're covering later tonight. Maybe you joined us earlier at 6:30. We hope you did, but if not, we do still have plenty ahead tonight at 10 and 11. Of course, you can always look for Atlanta News First on your streaming platform, or you can join us live on TV, Peachtree TV at 10, CBS at 11, and in just a few minutes, we're going to have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin join us. And you're going to want to stay tuned for that because we are watching two First Alert weather days that impact your work week ahead. I know. We're wrapping up the weekend. We have to talk about the week ahead. So we first want to, though, get to some of these top stories that we have been covering. You may have seen that we broke this news yesterday about a shooting that took place outside of Six Flags. We're learning more information about that today. This video here is from an Atlanta News First viewer. They shared this with us, and it shows just the frantic running that took place after the sound of shots were fired. We also have some video of the scene. We have our reporter Bridget Spencer. She is out there this evening. We also had our reporter Asia Wilson out there today. So we have team coverage for you on this shooting. Just absolutely terrifying. But police say it all started when there was a group of about 500 people, they estimate, that were at Six Flags in the park. They were fighting, and eventually that crowd spilled out of the park. Police were following them, and that's when they say shots rang out. Police say it happened, again, about 500 or 600 people running out of the park. Multiple fights were breaking out. Then the Georgia Bureau of Investigation says someone shot at officers. Investigators then say police shot at a 15-year-old who is in critical condition tonight. They were transported last night to Grady Memorial Hospital. But police say when security and officers followed the unruly crowd out of the park onto Six Flags Parkway near South Service Road, it was an unknown number of suspects that shot at officers. Again, officials with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation saying an officer then returned fire. One juvenile we know was hit. Their name has not been released because they are under the age of 18, but we do know that they are in critical condition at last check tonight. Police also say they later found a gun near him. And staff with Six Flags Over Georgia released a statement after all of this that says, quote, a fearful experience leaving, some pleading for change, excuse me. We have their full statement on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. But in light of all of this, there were activists, including Gerald Rose. He is with the New Order Human Rights Organization. They say they're appalled at what took place, what was supposed to be opening day, in fact, at the park, a time, of course, to enjoy these rides and entertainment turning to disaster. And so people in the area saying that they want to see more safety measures done. They want to see changes made as a result. We are still working to figure out the exact circumstances of what took place. Again, police saying that there was a group of about 500 or 600 young people that were involved in various different fights that were breaking out in different parts of the park. Security and Cobb County Police essentially following that crowd out, trying to get them out of the park. And that's when they say that a group fired shots at officers. At least one officer returned fire, hitting one suspect, a 15-year-old, who had to be transported to Grady Memorial Hospital, and we have learned tonight that they are in critical condition. And as a result, people in the community are hoping to see changes being made. They're hoping to see safety measures installed to try to prevent this from happening again. So we are going to have more on this tonight. If you join us tonight on Atlanta News First, we will have more. If you want to read the statement in full from Six Flags Over Georgia, you can go to atlantanewsfirst.com. You can also take this time right now and go ahead and download our free app. That way you can get breaking updates that are sent to your phone as we continue to learn more information about this. But, I mean, resulting in just sheer panic, innocent bystanders having to run for safety. Scenes like this, certainly not the thing you ever expect to see opening day at a theme park. We're going to take you to this next story now. This is new video that we have into the Atlanta News First newsroom. It shows the body camera of a story that we told you about earlier this week, a daring rescue that was caught on camera. A woman had plunged into a pool in Cobb County. Authorities say that she was unconscious at the time. We're going to play that video for you right now. You can see the officer there trying to pull the woman out. The pool caught basically in the cover over the pool, so it wasn't fully submerged. But again, this video, or we showed you a photo last week, rather, of the car that went through a fence, landing in a Cobb County neighborhood pool, and tonight we have this new video. Certainly a scary sight for neighbors as they had to watch that car plow through, landing in their pool, and police say the person behind the wheel was unconscious. A black sedan there in the water. It was being held up by that sinking pool cover. An officer, as you see, gets into the water, busts out the back driver's side window in order to get inside of the car. And once the officer is able to get to the driver's door, he realizes that the woman behind the wheel is unconscious, manages to pull her to safety. Now, police say that woman was taken to a local hospital. They couldn't elaborate further on her condition due to privacy laws, but they say she is expected to make a full recovery. Really unbelievable video there. Thankfully, they were able to get her out. And it's still no update on her condition, citing privacy laws there at the hospital. And this is a story that we have been talking about now for since not this past week, but the week before, when a nursing student was found murdered on the University of Georgia campus. This story has really sent shockwaves through the community, through the state, even through the country. And as a UGA alum myself, it's definitely hit pretty close to home, but we know that you don't have to be a graduate of the university or even be affiliated with the university to know about this devastating case in which Laken Riley was found murdered. Jose Antonio Ibarra, who is 26 years old, was arrested and charged with her murder with a slew of other charges, including kidnapping, hindering a 911 call, tampering with evidence, concealing the death of another. And in fact, Laken Riley, she was laid to rest on Friday in a private service with her family and her loved ones. But as a result of this, there have been more things to come out as a result as police continue their investigations. So the brother of the suspect, Diego Ibarra, who is 29 years old, he was also charged. He is facing charges of possessing false green card papers, and he is expected to go before a judge tomorrow in Macon. The brother of the man charged in the murder of 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley will make his first court appearance. Who you're seeing here is 29-year-old Diego Ibarra, charged with having a fake green card to try to get hired at a dining hall at the University of Georgia, but was subsequently fired for not being able to submit other documents that were required to keep the job in the first place. So again, Ibarra is expected to go before a federal judge tomorrow morning in Macon. His charges were not directly in connection to the death of Laken Riley. However, police initially stopped Ibarra because they had mistaken him initially for his brother. The two favor each other, and that is when investigators say that he turned over a false green card, and that is what he has been charged with. He is slated to go before a judge tomorrow in Macon. We will continue to keep you updated with any developments in this case. If you want to read more about it, we know this is a very, very high-interest piece of news and just a very devastating piece of news with lots of moving parts. And so you can find full coverage on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. I do want to keep pushing our website here because we do have extensive coverage on all of these things. And if you want to read more, to be able to catch up before you see the news on TV or even after, if you want to dig into it a little bit further, that is always a resource that we have available for you. So certainly a lot of news that we are covering here, and I do see some of you are joining us here on YouTube. Baxter, hey, thank you for joining us. Kelly, yes, just very sad to see. She's referencing the Six Flags story, the shooting that took place outside of Six Flags. So we are hoping to get even more answers for you, but I did want to give you an update on some of these big stories that we have been following closely, share with you some new information, share with you some new video. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a live look outside here. We've had a pretty nice weekend overall, a dry end to the weekend, but we cannot say the same for your work week, sadly. I know that's not exactly the news you want to hear as you're preparing for everything ahead on a Sunday evening. In fact, we have two, not one, but two first alert weather days that we want to make sure we tell you about this week, Cutter. So when is that rain going to move in?
Yeah, we're going to be watching Tuesday and early Wednesday morning, Friday and early Saturday morning. Good news with the general setup is that, yes, we have two time periods where rain will be heavy and widespread, and there could even be a strong thunderstorm or two in there, especially on our Friday, but we will also have times of drier weather, better weather to get outside and enjoy outdoor activities, try to get those outdoor errands and chores that you need to get done in while the weather is... We're not going to call it a perfect 10, but while the weather is decent. Again, thank you for joining, for tuning in. I am watching, or we're streaming, I should say, on Atlanta News First Plus, atlantanewsfirst.com, First Alert Weather app, Atlanta News First app, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick. Of course, Karli Barnett kind of wrapping up the news headlines just a moment ago. Now we're shifting gears and talking First Alert forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin, and we'll be going through the next week, starting hour by hour with what we have going on this evening, but also... letting you know that we're going to go deeper into the work week. And if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out. I'm watching the YouTube feed as we speak and keeping an eye on the questions as they come in. Again, here's the general layout of the work week. Do notice tomorrow mostly dry. This particular graphic, those colors and that shading indicating rain accumulation within that 24-hour period. So when you see Tuesday, we're talking 12 a.m. Tuesday morning to 11:59 p.m. Tuesday night. Those rainfall amounts, generally the lightest of the green, light amounts. But as we get to Friday, the yellows, oranges, reds, and purples indicating inches of rain possible just in that 24-hour period, Friday 12 a.m. to Friday 11:59 p.m. And there could be additional rain into our Saturday morning. So I think that the risk of heavy rain greater with our Friday system, certainly something that we're going to need to keep an eye on. Perhaps the type of rainfall and the extent and amount of rain over a large area. We could see some rises on area creeks, area rivers as we get into next weekend. Certainly something that we will be watching for you. Good news though this evening outside. It is nice, not really cold. In fact, temperature is fairly mild. 64 in Beaufort, Sandy Springs, 62, 61 Marietta, 62 downtown Atlanta, 61 down in Covington, lower 60s in Conyers, 60 flat in Dallas. Upper 50s kind of saved up for Bartow County there, the far north side of town. Most of the metro is still in the lower 60s. And will remain fairly mild overnight tonight. First Alert Weather app is a great tool to have. Not only can you watch streams like this one, but you can be alerted to changes in the forecast. The First Alert Weather team, morning, noon, and night, recording updates even outside of news time and sending them to your phone. So you're never more than a couple clicks away from the latest forecast. And hour by hour, speaking of that forecast, notice how temperatures remain fairly mild overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. We will start our Monday with temperatures in the low to mid 50s around metro Atlanta and back into the mid 60s by 11 a.m. To noon, going deeper into the afternoon. Today, keep in mind we hit 70 degrees. We're going about 72, 73 tomorrow, so another few degrees warmer as we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, even after sunset. It's going to remain fairly mild across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. And one thing that I noticed today was, not only is it feeling milder, but also it feels a little bit muggier across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. The humidity is coming up. It's feeling a little bit more like springtime, which is to be expected as we await our next storm system approaching from the west. Again, first system set to arrive as we get into our Tuesday afternoon and evening into Tuesday night. Your DriveCast for the Monday morning drive. Again, fog is possible Monday morning, but not anticipating any huge issues. We'll give you the yellow light. A simple heads up that, yes, there could be some areas of low visibility. Maybe wake up just a couple minutes early or do your normal routine and tune in to Atlanta News First, starting at 4:30 in the morning. The morning crew, Courtney Jacobazzi, Rodney Harris, Ella Dorsey, will let you know where visibility is lowest and if they are noticing any issues on the roadways tomorrow morning. Don't anticipate fog to be as widespread, the dense fog at least, as it was this morning, so that should keep impacts to your Monday morning commute relatively low across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Talked about temperatures across the metro, whether you're inside I-285 or outside of the perimeter. Pretty much everyone low to mid 50s. 52, 55 degrees for a start temperature, a low temperature. That's, fairly mild, even given the time of year. Should wake up to upper 30s and 40s on any given early March morning. 48 Blairsville, your low temperature. 54 Carrollton, 56 LaGrange. Covington, Athens in the lower 50s. Light jacket pretty much at most tomorrow. And then we rebound. Temperatures back in the mid-upper 60s noon. Lower 70s, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 p.m., 10 p.m. tomorrow evening. We are still hanging on to temperatures in the 60s. That'll put high temperatures, I think, in the low to mid 70s most spots. Look at Rome, 76. Some folks verging on upper 70s for a time tomorrow afternoon with a little bit more humidity. And again, sun and clouds battling it out a little bit, but I do think tomorrow a little more sunshine than today. It's like today a little more sunshine than yesterday. It will not be a sunny Monday, but more sunshine, I think, than what we had today, especially afternoon, early evening hours. 73 Atlanta, 72 Gainesville, Athens, Rome, and Noonan, all in the mid-70s tomorrow afternoon. I would say warmest between about 3:30 and 5:30. And then the big changes. Tuesday morning is dry. Tuesday is a first alert weather day. Rain will be widespread, and it could be locally heavy. I think it will be locally heavy for a time or two as we get into Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, and into the wee hours of our Wednesday morning. So let's break Tuesday out of that first alert forecast, talk about impact here, break it down kind of day part by day part. Midnight Tuesday morning, so through the wee hours, if you're a third shift worker or if you get up early and you commute maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to your job, it's fine. We're dry. Lots of clouds, but roads are dry, no issues. 8 a.m. to noon, so through that morning commute into about the lunch hour, I think we are still fairly dry, maybe a sprinkle or two, those clouds thickening up by that point. And then 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., especially the last little part of that 5-hour stretch, showers and thunderstorms on the increase, especially the west side. It may be later in the evening that rain begins to pour in the city of Atlanta. And then Tuesday evening after sunset, Tuesday night, wee hours of Wednesday morning, hopefully before the Wednesday morning commute gets going, that's when the steadiest, the heaviest of the rain will fall. So the majority of our Wednesday actually dry, especially Wednesday afternoon, hence no first alert weather day, though if that timing shifts any later, or if the system is any slower to get out, we might have to add that first alert weather day and let you know that the morning commute could be impacted. But right now, fingers crossed, not as big of an impact, more of a Tuesday evening, Tuesday night issue. Thursday, lower 70s, back with a little bit more sunshine. And then Friday, our next system arrives. Models are struggling with the timing of this system. Of course, we're several days away, so there is naturally going to be some uncertainty with the exact details behind the forecast. But what I can tell you is that the risk of thunderstorms is a little greater with Friday's system, especially well south of I-20 down towards Macon. And rain will be heavier in general, a lot more moisture to work with. The dynamics, the lift with this system, all more capable of producing sustained heavy rain as we get into our Friday. So first alert weather day, again, it mainly looks afternoon, evening. Some data holds off until Friday night, Saturday morning. That's why we've carried over that rain chance into your Saturday morning, 40% chance of scattered rain. We'll just have to see how it shapes up, but right now, data favoring most of the impactful rain getting out of here by the time you're trying to get up and at them, out and about and do your Saturday plans. And then finally, we're cooler, we're drier, we're kind of cleansing the pattern and the environment and getting some drier, more pleasant weather back in the forecast Sunday, latter half of next weekend. And technically, that shift begins to occur Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Doesn't look like we have any weather questions, comments, concerns on YouTube. We've been streaming for about 20 minutes now. Want to thank you for watching and remind you can always ask weather questions, get some clarification on that first alert forecast, a first alert weather day or otherwise. You can reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or X, Threads, Instagram. Might have already said that. Many platforms, not just myself, but any member of the first alert weather team. You can also email us. And I want to remind you, we're back on your TVs, 10 p.m., Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, Atlanta News First will begin at 10 p.m., and then we're going to hop on, should be on time tonight, on WANF for the late news at 11 p.m. And a reminder, as mentioned earlier, you can always grab that first alert forecast at atlantanewsfirst.com. Just click on the First Alert Weather tab. You can also grab it in the First Alert Weather app. Again, you're looking live right now at atlantanewsfirst.com. Clicking on First Alert Weather, it'll leave you to the latest forecast, including a snippet from the 6:30 newscast earlier this evening. But a reminder, you can always grab a check of that First Alert forecast in the First Alert Weather app, even if you are on the go. Want to wish you a wonderful Sunday evening. Enjoy it. Enjoy the dry weather while we have it. A reminder, kind of a A summary of the work week starts okay. Tuesday and Friday, first alert weather days. Biggest impacts will be periods of heavy rain, especially late in the day on both of those days, Tuesday and Friday. Full forecast coming up here in about an hour on Peachtree TV.